Hello there, my name's Will, and this is my first YouTube video on this channel. The reason why I am creating this video, as you'll tell by the title, is everyone has seen the Katt Williams interview, and people are highlighting, oh, Ludacris made a response, a freestyle video. And I found it very ironic that nobody's speaking about how, I guess, missing or anonymous his wife is. And I did some research online, quick couple research articles. We call them research articles, what people, blogs. And I realized that his wife just doesn't make sense that they're married after Katt Williams brings this up. And I'll get to that and why. First, it says, they met in 2008 at a charity event. Now, if you know, like I know, you can't just go into a celebrity's charity event and just show up. It's not how that works. If someone, let's say Jay-Z or Beyonce, somebody's on a charity event, first of all, you have to pay money for a plate. Okay, you have to get invited. Okay, you have to sit down at a table. There's going to be like drinks. There's going to be maybe a fundraiser. There's going to be a silent auction. A lot of these things take place, and that's not something someone in college can just pop up to with no money. I read that she is from Gabon, has a lot of brothers and sisters. Ludacris doesn't even know how many she has, according to the quote, saying they sent her family Pampers and water during COVID, saying she has like 8 brothers and sisters. I don't know what that means. What do you mean, bro? I know how many brothers and sisters my wife has. Everybody knows how many brothers and sisters their wife has. And I know for a fact, if I was in a financial status like Ludacris is, my wife's family in Africa would not be struggling to the point where they got to ship them containers of Pampers and water. Second thing is, let's just go back. So they meet at a charity event in 2008. I believe she was like very young in college, they said, and they said she's a model. But she came to the U.S. knowing only 3 words of English. Okay, they meet in Atlanta. Let's take a step back here. They meet in Atlanta in 2008 when Ludacris was like on top of the world. He's the man at the time. He still is. I mean, all his stuff aside, he's still a man when it comes to talent. But you got a young college-age girl showing up to his charity event. One, no one knows how she even got in the room. 2, how did she even get to interact with Ludacris? Right? Besides him maybe saying, thank you for coming to a few people here and there, like, people just aren't mingling with the public at their events. They're very hard to get a hold of because everybody's trying to shake their hands, take photos, rub shoulders with this celebrity. So the fact that she was able to get into the room and then meet him in a point where they could actually go on a date later, like a real date, obviously they must have one of the dates where they're dating. It says they're dating for years before they got married in secret. So for that interaction to take place, I also find that strange because Ludacris in Atlanta, that's prime black woman real estate. Okay? Any black American man knows that Atlanta, if you want a black wife, if you want a black woman, you go down to the South, you're going to find a million black women. The fact that he found a West African woman who doesn't even speak English, has no job, no money, nothing, and they hit it off and get married, that's bizarre. That's unheard of in any world, any realm, any culture. That does not happen. That does not happen. That's like a Passport Bros but reverse. It's like these dudes who go over to the Philippines and find wives or whatever. That's like the equivalent of her showing up here and finding a husband and being Ludacris. Like, what is this, Cinderella? Come on now, let's be realistic here. And on top of that, no one's ever seen her do an interview. I look up online that she has a nonprofit called Unspoken Angels. Well, when you go to unspokenangels.org, it's not real. Hold on one second, sorry about that. Close the door. Another thing is, here's what the website looks like when you type in Unspoken Angels. This is not a nonprofit, okay? You go to unspokenangels.org, and this is the Instagram. Okay, it's run off Instagram. We've all seen this blueprint before, right? Think about Chelsea Clinton. All right, we've all seen these hidden quasi charities that people run who are attached to these celebrities. No one has any record of them doing anything public. Nobody has ever seen their work out in the field. There's nobody vouching for them except other celebrities that are in their circle. And granted, I mean, there's some corroboration to that, but I mean, it's usually people who you can't even verify their statements either. Um, so the second thing I want to, well, not second, let's bring up the next point. The next point is this: they get married in secret. They get engaged in secret and married, but then like a day it says. Now, I don't know if y'all like me, but out here on the East Coast, if you marry an African woman, especially a West African woman, it ain't gonna be done in secret. There's gonna be a lot of family members. It's gonna be a lot of events, and most likely you're gonna have to do that wedding in Africa, or you're gonna have two ceremonies. They're gonna do one here in the U.S. and one in Africa. Most people who marry West African women out here, they not just getting married at the principal, not the principal. I'm sorry, but look at me. See, the downtown town hall, city hall. That's not what celebrities do when it comes to someone high profile as Ludacris, and he's doing it with a woman. How can this woman help him? She has no connections to anybody. That's how she's being portrayed, right? She has no connections to anybody. She's not connected to any network. She doesn't have any money. Okay. In my career, I service $1 million people as clients. I've still never been in a room with Ludacris. It's very hard to get to a room with any celebrity or athlete. Very hard to do for people even in that circle of business, right? You got, my career is wealth management. You got agents. You got who else works with them? Coaches. Like, it's just a lot of recruiters. Like, there's a lot. A&R guys. They all know, like, that's not a circle you just pop in. Like, hey, you know what? I know some celebrities just walk in on them unless you're really established in the business and you're wealthy and you have a great reputation. That's usually how you can just pop up. Usually your whole circle are those people. So let's go back to Ludacris here. His wife, marrieds are young, whatever, but they meet each other, they date for years in secret. She never does an interview, never hear her speak. She looks light skinned and the weird name, like every other subject Katt Williams named. Tons of people, and I always wondered why in the world all these powerful black men marrying either white women or women who are extremely light skinned and racially ambiguous. You can't really tell what the background they come from, why they're even in the same room, why they even know each other. It makes zero sense. Random people, regular everyday people, are just not in the rooms with celebrities all the time. Most celebrities you see walk around with security or an entourage. You're just not going to be a regular everyday woman just popping in on celebrities and then getting to a point you actually can marry them. Like, Shannon Sharp ain't even married. He's the man. Like, come on now. Let's just be realistic here. So when Katt Williams brings this up and nobody makes any mention to it, I go, well, I'm going to make a video about it. And I'm pretty sure there are other points I may be missing. Let me see here. Let me see if I got anything else in here that I can look up online. Just type her name in, and everything that just alarms me, I'll bring it up. Yeah, man. And I just say, you can't have the satanic side without having the Jesus side. That's another part I want to bring up. All right. All y'all who watch this interview, if you don't have your life right with Jesus, you better, because you can't have Satan without Jesus. You can't just say all of these horror Netflix films that are made on Netflix and Hulu and all these TV shows. If you notice, all people do on these shows is they mock God. They try to find an excuse for him not to exist, or they try to produce this agnostic type of viewpoint to the world. But we all know the world is craving spiritual encounters, and the sad thing is that everybody's trying to find a spiritual encounter in any and everything except Jesus. And people will relate that to religion, but people don't realize that Jesus came here to destroy religion. Jesus didn't come here to establish religion. That was a problem with the Jewish people at that point in time. They were religious. They cared about the law and the book. And they were missing the message behind what the prophets were really saying. But anyways, let's just get back to, the topic at hand. So Ludacris' wife, I looked at her Instagram. She posts these like daily prayers. And I just look at that as hiding in plain sight. I mean, there's nothing too hard for the Lord. Maybe He can redeem her or redeem them because they have been in private for a long time. They are still doing these Fast and Furious movies, which have been released behind our back. I didn't even know they were Fast and Furious 10. Shoot, you like me, I don't remember Fast and Furious past Tokyo Drift. So, the fact they're on number 10, I'm just like, what? And Ludacris is also in a lot of movies, right? Ludacris is in so many movies. And I go, bro, hey, aren't you a rapper from Atlanta? Like, you're not seeing people like Lil Baby in a whole bunch of movies, Young Thug, like the typical Atlanta rappers, what, Rocka Flocka, Gucci, like T.I. maybe now he's gonna be in movies, but not even as many. But then you got a guy like Ludacris who all of a sudden goes from being a rapper to looking from your head to your toes to being in tons of movies. People may say, oh, you know, just a crossover guy, he's just an entertainer, blah, blah, blah. But really, you know how many people are in this industry? The entertainment industry, that's not something that doesn't just happen, bro. You don't just snap your fingers, it doesn't just happen. Unless God is on your side. We all know from the interview, Jesus ain't on their side. Now, I'm not gonna speak and say and speak for God, but if you look at where the chips fall, these people are just hiding in plain sight, playing with the devil. And if Ludacris hasn't already, I advise him to get his life right with Jesus Christ before he's no longer here. And so with his wife, if they have not already. Because this whole cabal thing they're playing with your soul, playing with your spirit, like that's something you don't take lightly here. That's not something you want to play around with, because the spiritual realm is a lot more powerful than the physical realm of what you can see. God bless y'all.